Tokyo, Japan. My name is Gary Verheller, and I'll be your host for what we call the Substance of Living podcast. Today, we'll look at what we call life's lessons. And I hope this will provide you with some insight, maybe even some inspiration to life's challenges. Welcome to episode 42, Motivation, Part 2. In episode 41, we looked at motivation and realized it's a feeling, and that most people are guessing when they're attempting to understand what motivates another person. In fact, most people are guessing when they're wondering what motivates me. And it takes a lot of time and effort to really consider who you are as a person. And there's something called Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs. Now, Abraham Maslow was a psychologist around the 1950s or so. And he came up with a hierarchy. Now, let me explain a hierarchy. It's like a pyramid. And the foundation of that pyramid is level 1. You must satisfy level 1 before you go to level 2. You must satisfy level 1 and 2 before you go to level 3, and so on, all the way up to level 5. So I want to share with you Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs because I think it's very interesting, and it's pretty logical too. Again, it's kind of guesswork because no one fits any particular level at any particular time. There might be more probable leaning toward one level or another. So let's look at the first level. The first level is physical, the physiological needs. What do I mean? Air, food, water, sleep. Those are the things that we must have in order to simply survive. In order to simply survive. The physical needs. If somebody's choking me, all I want is air. I don't care about what groups I belong to or if people like me. I need air. So these physical needs are very, very important, and they're the foundation of existence. So level 1 is physical needs. If you satisfy level 1, now you go to level 2, which is called safety needs. What do I mean by safety needs? Well, safety needs can be clothes to protect us from the environment. Safety needs can be shelter to protect us again from the environment and wild animals and whatever. And safety needs also means to be free from danger. So if you satisfy level 1, physical needs, and you satisfy number 2, safety needs, you don't have to be worrying about what's happening in life, then you can go to level 3. What is level 3? Level 3 is belonging. The need to belong. Humans are social animals. In fact, there's some very famous Russian studies that have found that if you isolate a person, it's the fastest way to cause that person to have a psychotic breakdown. This is what the Russians did. They put people in a full bodysuit, rubber bodysuit, and they also desensitized their nerve endings so they couldn't really have feelings of touch. They sealed off their ears. Of course, they had masks on. Put air tubes into this suit so they could breathe, and then floated them in salt water. Completely black. Complete lack of any stimuli whatsoever. No sound, no hot or cold, just medium temperature to the body, and no light. A person in that condition for 24 hours, when they would bring them out, no matter if it was a man or a woman, they'd take the suit off, and as soon as a person opened their eyes and saw another human, they would simply hug them. We need social interaction. It's who we are as people. So belongingness, and You can see this everywhere. You belong to your family, you belong to your community, you belong to your company, you belong to your church, you belong to your hobby of maybe following a baseball team. The sense of belonging is very, very important for humans. We're social animals. So you have number 1, physical needs. Number 2 would be safety needs. Number 3 is belonging. Number 4 is called self-esteem. What does that mean, self-esteem? Self-esteem means to have a life of value, a worthwhile life. For example, Mirai-Con. I work at a science museum called Mirai-Con. And Mirai-Con has a vision statement. And this is self-esteem means a life of value that goes beyond just me and my needs. At Mirai-Con, our mission is to help each person discover a relationship with this planet of life and what every person can do to help sustain Earth. Because if we sustain Earth, we sustain the human species. That's a purpose. That's a life of value. I'm working there for that reason. So that's self-esteem. Now, self-esteem can also include fashion and makeup and accessories and things of that nature, kind of the superfluous things about self-esteem. Most important is having a life of value. So let's go through it again. You have physical needs, then you have safety needs, then you have belonging, then you have self-esteem. And number 5 is self-actualization. What is that? Self-actualization is when you are at the pinnacle, at the top of everything that you could possibly be. Almost no one stays in self-actualization. The most successful people will peak there. They're perfect moments. And they come back to self-esteem. They hit those perfect moments. And the more practice you have, the more perfect moments you'll have. That's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I think there's some logic to that. Most important to me is to satisfy the physical needs and the safety needs and belonging needs. I think I'm at self-esteem. I'm very fortunate in that I live in a country, Japan, that has satisfied for the great majority of people those first 3. In fact, I've never seen any culture that embraces belongingness so much. I have clients that still meet with their kindergarten classmates in a reunion every year. And these people are like in their 60s and 70s. It's just amazing. It's wonderful to see the sense of belonging and sense of community. Because if you have that, then you have a sense of responsibility to the community. And when you have that, usually crime goes down and quality of life goes up. So that was Maslow's hierarchy of needs: physical, safety, belonging, self-esteem, and for the very fortunate, self-actualization. Let me know what you think about this and about all of our videos in the comments below. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today for the Substance of Living podcast. If you'd be kind enough to consider subscribing, you can contact us through Spotify or Apple Podcasts or connect on Twitter. Join us again next time for what I hope will help you navigate life.